Welcome to Newsbeacon, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Boeing has long stood as a symbol of American power, innovation, and the spirit of possibility. From its earliest days, the company has been woven into the fabric of the nation's identity, representing not just technological achievement, but the ambition to reach new heights, literally and figuratively. For generations, if you boarded a plane in the United States or around the world, chances were high you were stepping onto a Boeing. Their jets became the backbone of global travel, carrying millions safely across continents and oceans. Boeing built the aircraft that connected families, businesses, and cultures, earning a reputation for quality, reliability, and above all, safety. Their engineers and workers were celebrated for their expertise, and the company's name became synonymous with trust in the skies. At its peak, Boeing employed hundreds of thousands, anchoring entire communities and providing stable, well-paying jobs. The company's presence shaped local economies, schools, and even the dreams of the next generation. From the legendary B-17 flying fortress that helped win World War II, to the revolutionary 747 jumbo jet that made air travel accessible to the masses, Boeing's innovations shaped not just the American story, but the global economy and culture. In countless towns, Boeing's factories were more than just workplaces, they were the heartbeats of entire communities. Generations of families built their lives, their futures, and their sense of pride around the company's success. That's why any sign of trouble at Boeing doesn't just make headlines, it sends shockwaves across the nation, stirring anxiety from factory floors to boardrooms. When Boeing stumbles, the consequences ripple far beyond its own walls. It's not just a business problem, it's a national crisis that can shake the confidence of an entire country. The impact is felt by thousands of suppliers, skilled engineers, mechanics, and small businesses that depend on Boeing's success. Entire communities can be thrown into uncertainty overnight. In many ways, Boeing's health is a barometer for the strength of American manufacturing and the resilience of the nation's industrial base. So when news breaks that Boeing is shutting down U.S. production, it's not just a business story, it's a seismic event that captures the attention of the entire country. The effects are immediate and far-reaching, touching the stock market, global trade, national pride, and even the sense of safety that Americans feel when they fly. This isn't just another headline about corporate missteps. It's a crisis that could redefine the future of American industry and the livelihoods of millions. The story of Boeing's current troubles is about a giant brought to its knees, not only by its own mistakes, but by the shifting tides of global politics, competition, and changing expectations. And at the center of this unfolding drama is a president whose decisions and policies may have lit the fuse, setting off a chain reaction that now threatens one of America's most iconic companies. Boeing's latest crisis didn't start in a factory. It started with a trade war, one that would send shockwaves through the global aviation industry and threaten the future of one of America's most iconic companies. The Trump administration's tariffs on Chinese goods triggered swift retaliation, and China aimed straight at Boeing, a company deeply intertwined with both American pride and global commerce. In April 2025, China ordered its airlines to halt all new Boeing purchases and stopped deliveries of already built jets. This was a bold move, signaling that China was willing to use its massive purchasing power as leverage in the escalating trade dispute. Dozens of planes meant for China were suddenly grounded, left sitting idle on tarmacs and in storage lots, their futures uncertain. China's message was clear: hurt us, and we'll hurt your crown jewel. The world watched as China flexed its economic muscle, showing it could strike at the heart of American industry. For Boeing, losing China, a market expected to account for 20% of global airplane sales, was catastrophic. China's rapidly growing aviation sector had long been a cornerstone of Boeing's future plans. Over 130 unfilled Chinese orders were frozen, and future sales vanished overnight. The backlog, once a sign of Boeing's dominance, now became a symbol of lost opportunity. Boeing's stock plummeted, and U.S. production lines ground to a halt. The company's financial health, already fragile, took another devastating blow. With no new orders and nowhere to send finished planes, factories reached a breaking point. Storage lots filled up, and the hum of assembly lines faded into silence. Thousands of American jobs were suddenly at risk. Engineers, machinists, and suppliers across the country faced layoffs and uncertainty about their futures. The shutdown was a direct result of the trade war, showing how political strategies can backfire and create unintended victims far from the negotiating table. A move meant to protect American industry ended up crippling one of its icons. Boeing, once a symbol of American innovation, now faced an uncertain future. The consequences rippled through the economy, exposing the real cost of economic warfare. Suppliers, investors, and entire communities felt the impact. Boeing's crisis became a warning for all of American manufacturing, a stark reminder that in a globalized world, economic battles can leave lasting scars on both sides. As Boeing's shutdown made headlines, all eyes turned to the White House. President Trump's response was a public meltdown, blaming China, not his own policies. He painted America as the victim, ignoring that his tariffs triggered China's retaliation. Experts had warned that the tariff strategy would backfire, and now Boeing was the casualty. Instead of seeking solutions, Trump doubled down, announcing even more tariffs. For Boeing workers, this was terrifying. Leadership seemed more interested in looking tough than saving jobs. The contrast between rhetoric and reality was stark tough talk, but factories were silent. Trump's refusal to acknowledge the consequences left Boeing with no hope for relief. The administration's approach was driven by impulse, not strategy. For Boeing, the president's reaction only promised more conflict, not solutions. The China crisis hit Boeing when it was already reeling from self-inflicted wounds. A door panel blew out mid-flight on a 737 MAX in January 2024, reigniting fears about Boeing's safety. The MAX had already been grounded after 2 fatal crashes, exposing a culture that prioritized speed and profit over safety. Even Boeing's space division was in turmoil, with NASA refusing to certify its Starliner capsule after repeated failures. A costly rescue by SpaceX underscored Boeing's decline. Analysts traced the rot back to the 1997 McDonnell-Douglas merger, which shifted focus from engineering to finance. Years of cutting corners left Boeing vulnerable. When China struck, it was kicking a giant already on its knees. In the world of big jets, it's Boeing versus Airbus. As Boeing faltered, Airbus seized the moment, signing massive deals with China. Airbus is set to deliver hundreds of planes to China over the next decade, locking Boeing out of a crucial market. Once airlines commit to a manufacturer, they rarely switch. Airbus is cementing its advantage for a generation. Every Airbus delivery is a lost sale for Boeing, costing billions in revenue. The trade war meant to help America ended up boosting Europe. Airbus's partnership approach, including a factory in China, stands in stark contrast to America's confrontational stance. While Boeing's US factories go quiet, Airbus's in China are buzzing. The result? America first put a European company first. Boeing's shutdown isn't just a corporate problem, it's a national disaster. The company is woven into the fabric of American industry, and its troubles send shockwaves far beyond its own walls. The impact ripples through 12,000 American suppliers, many of which are small businesses that depend on Boeing contracts to keep their doors open and their workers employed. These suppliers are scattered across the country, from big cities to rural towns. When Boeing stops, so do jobs for engineers, mechanics, truck drivers, and even cafeteria workers. The livelihoods of thousands of families are suddenly at risk, and the effects can be felt in every corner of the community. Entire towns can be devastated, with mortgages unpaid and local businesses suffering. The loss of a major employer like Boeing can trigger a domino effect, leading to empty storefronts and shrinking tax bases. The American dream for many families is built on manufacturing jobs. Now that foundation is cracking. Parents worry about their children's futures, and communities that once thrived on steady paychecks now face uncertainty. Boeing's decline challenges America's identity as an industrial powerhouse. For generations, building things has been at the heart of what it means to be American, and Boeing has been a symbol of that spirit. Can the US still compete globally if its flagship manufacturer is sidelined? The world is watching, and America's reputation for innovation and reliability is on the line. The crisis is about more than balance sheets. It's about America's future. It's about whether the next generation will have the same opportunities as those before them, or if those doors are closing. Political decisions in Washington have real-world consequences in places like Seattle. The choices made by lawmakers can determine whether factories stay open or close for good. The fate of Boeing is tied to the fate of American workers and the economy. Every job lost is a story of hardship, and every plant closure is a blow to the nation's strength. Silent factories are a tragic symbol of a crisis hitting home, a stark reminder that the challenges facing Boeing are challenges facing all of America. To understand Boeing's fall, look back to the 1997 merger with McDonnell Douglas. Boeing shifted from an engineering-first culture to one obsessed with cost-cutting and shareholder returns. The soul of the company moved from the factory floor to Wall Street. Decisions prioritized speed and savings over building the best planes. Moving headquarters from Seattle to Chicago deepened the disconnect between leadership and workers. This culture led to flawed designs and quality lapses like the 737 MAX disasters. Leadership was out of touch, missing warning signs until it was too late. Boeing's decline began long before the trade war. It traded engineering pride for short-term profit. Now it's paying the price. The Boeing crisis is just one part of a nation under immense pressure. The Trump administration's chaotic approach is creating instability across the economy. The same week as Boeing's shutdown, the White House threatened a government shutdown and layoffs. Other industries like tech are also suffering from trade restrictions. Political infighting and legal battles distract from real solutions. The Boeing crisis is the most visible symptom of a larger national malaise. It shows what happens when aggressive policies collide with global realities. Boeing's shutdown is a sobering tale of a titan brought low by internal flaws and reckless politics. The silent factories and uncertain futures of thousands of workers are a stark testament to this failure. President Trump's response, doubling down on failed policies, offers no hope. Airbus is seizing the moment, securing dominance in China and leaving Boeing behind. What happens next is uncertain. Boeing's recovery would require a return to engineering excellence and a smarter trade approach. The crisis is a warning. When companies lose integrity and leaders choose conflict, everyone pays. The fate of Boeing will define the future of American industry. Whether it's a story of collapse or rebirth depends on choices made in boardrooms and in Washington. For now, an American giant is grounded, and the world is watching.